On Setting the Record Straight, Hart Foundation versus D-Generation X. Hart versus Heartbreak. Kids for that! A lot of people think that I am a fan of the HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, the showstopper, the main event, the one and the only Mr. WrestleMania, and yes, though that is true, it wasn't always the case. You see, back in the day, before I used to rock super kicks, I was a fan of the Hart Foundation. In my eyes, Bret Hart was the number one guy to be because I respected this dude. He stood for the truth. He stood for the good fight, basically, and those were values and things that I could live by, go with. The Hitman was where it was at, and of course, the Sharpshooter was like the most devastating submission hold. Not really, but the Sharpshooter was fucking cool, man. Come on, it's the fucking Sharpshooter. All the while, I still like Shawn. Shawn was cool to me, but when it came to like Bret versus Shawn, I was always a Bret guy. But I still liked them both. That all changed, however, that one fucking night. That one night that Shawn kicked Bret in the chair. That shit changed the game for me because it was like, how the fuck do you super kick a man in a fucking wheelchair and he had a broken fucking leg? Come on, man. What's up with that? It was too far, and at that point, I was like, you know what, Shawn? You're fucking done. I'm Hart Foundation for life. The King of Hearts, Neidhart, Davey Boy Smith, even fucking Brian Pillman. I was down with all those motherfuckers. But we all know history and how the story went. After the Montreal screw job and when Bret left the company to go down south, uh, you know, DX was all that there was left. The Hart Foundation slowly but surely broke apart. In a way, the Heartbreak Kid and I guess D Generation X with an assist broke the Hart Foundation. So HBK, you lived true to your word, man. You broke some hearts. And because of this fact, on a swift off topic bit, I've always regarded HBK as the American version of Kazushi Sakuraba, who is the fucking Gracie Hunter. Just like Sakuraba, man. Sakuraba killed every fucking Gracie he ever met, and Shawn killed every fucking Hart he ever met. I hated how it went down, but that's fucking how it went down, man. HBK is a Sakuraba of the West. It wasn't until years later that I even began to like DX because even at the time when HBK left for his injury, for his fucking back injury, uh, at that time Triple H, I believe, oh, I think it might have even been a little bit before that time, DX started working with the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg Jesse James, Badass Billy Gunn. I like the Outlaws now, but back then I fucking hated their asses. Why? Because they were fucking with the Legion of Doom. Two of the fucking baddest dudes in the history of tag team wrestling, aka the fucking Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal. Those dudes I disrespected because I mean, come on, they're fucking legendary. It's the fucking Road Warriors, right? And at the time, New Age Outlaws were just this young upstart. They were no one really knew who they were. At least I didn't really fucking know who they were. And it was like they were just fucking with LOD way too hard. I'm like, come on, man. You guys are wrong for fucking with these old dudes like this. Not saying like, old in a disrespectful term, but you know what I mean. They were just like fucking legends. It's like, come on, man. They did some things that I kind of had to disagree with. It wasn't until I guess years later or whatever, the time is wonky right now for me, but it wasn't until after all that stuff after the Hart Foundation, after the LOD incident. It wasn't until fucking Pac came back to the WWE as fucking X Pac that I kind of began to warm up to DX because, yo, man, I was always a fan of the fucking Lightning. I was always a fan of the one, count 'em, 1, 2, 3 kid. So wherever the kid goes, I fucking follow. The kid went DX, so I went DX with him. And at that point, man, DX was pretty cool, I guess. They were doing some cool stuff, yada yada yada. They invaded WCW that one time. They did a lot of cool stuff. I guess at that time I was bleeding black and green. The Hart Foundation was gone. LOD, that was a memory. DX wasn't really doing anything that pissed me off from what I remember. I don't even really remember too much who they feuded with, but whoever it was, I was cool with it. And if you're not down with that, well, I guess I got 2 words for you. Suck these nuts. That's 3 words, but you know what I mean. On some outro shit, epilogue, if you will. Brett was always that guy who was speaking the truth. He was speaking shit like the real shit that everybody hated him for. But you had to admit, if you really thought about it, that shit was true, man. All that anti-American stuff, that shit was fucking true, man. And the fucking Americans booed the shit out of him. They were like, "Oh, USA, USA." Yo, dude, he was fucking right the entire time. The excellence of execution fucked you guys, and you guys just didn't want to admit it because you're fucking pig-headed, nationalistic assholes. That's why, when it's all said and done, not counting Owen, excluding Owen, all right? When it's all said and done, Brett will be the best there is, the best there was, and the fucking best there ever will be. Oh, Canada. You legalize weed and have free medical health care. Oh, Canada. My ancestors used to run to you for salvation. Oh, Canada. Logically, I should be doing the same thing right now. Oh, Canada. But it's really cold in Canada. At the same time, I guess I could buy a coat.